Hi painters. So I just wanted to touch base with you really quick about your materials. So you're going to need just a few things. You should have picked up a watercolor set. I have a whole bunch out here. Like if you have watercolor tubes like they're showing in the video, you can use those. That's great. It's not required at all. And there's the watercolor set you would have picked up that looks something like this on the cover, or if you go to the dollar store, you'll probably get something like this, or even Target or Walmart. These are great, they're fine. If you want more space to mix these paints, you can just use a plain plate because these are non-toxic paints. They are not gonna hurt you or anyone in your family, but this is where you're actually mixing. This is your mixing palette. And these dry watercolor cakes are not like a low grade thing. It's just that when they're dry like this, they last a little longer. The downside of the tube is if you use them when they're wet, you usually consume more pigment than you need. So a lot of people will let this dry in their palette and then just use it like a cake anyway. So you would have picked up 3 brushes. I have just a variety of brushes here. Again, if you didn't get these supplies, you can get them pretty cheap anywhere else. I also have just a plastic cup with water. Any cup of water is fine. And a paper towel. You can use the same paper towel through all of your lessons here. It shouldn't really get soaking wet. To activate your watercolor paint, you basically just drop a dot of water in each one and let it rest. The watercolor paint or the paint cake will soften up the longer the water sits there. And then I usually will wash out my mixing palette right here with just some water and then wipe it with my paper towel so it's clean, and it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. Now in the videos I'm showing you, there's a lot of use of watercolor tubes, and they talk about specific colors, and you don't actually have to have those. You know that with these you can make pretty much anything. You have red, yellow, and blue, so you can make any color you want. The combinations just come from how much you combine of each color. So the proportion of each color combined will give you yellow orange or yellow green or red orange or red violet, sorry. And you can figure all that out. The big thing with watercolor is that the white of your paper is your white paint. So you really have to be mindful of what you're leaving alone. White of the paper has to be saved. So you're always going to be painting around things that are white, or let your paint be lighter. So those are my just quick intro tips. For these practices, take 1 sheet of watercolor paper and fold it into 4s and cut it or rip it into 4 sections. Each practice should be 1 small section.